killers from all over the world who mysteriously killed more than 50 victims in a brutal way. Crime is like a butterfly that flies in the dark of night, beautiful and seductive, but with wings that carry the shadow of death. Hello, this is the Holmes channel and we are going to accompany you with one of the most complicated criminal cases in the world. Andrei Chikatilo. The second most famous murderer in the world is also from Russia. Andrei Chikatilo, who is also known as the Butcher of Rostov or the Ripper of Rostov, committed serious crimes in Russia, Ukraine, Uzbekistan of the Soviet Union between 1978 and 1990. He is accused of terrible crimes including murder, rape, mutilation and amputation. Andrei has confessed to more than 56 cases of murder and among the victims are at least 52 children and women. He was definitively convicted of 53 counts of murder. At first, he was a school teacher who was fired due to some immoral behavior with students. It was after that his chain of murders began and the first two murders involved two 9 and 17-year-old girls. After his arrest, he claimed that he had tasted the blood of the victims. Abul Qasim Jabbar, the most famous assassin of Afghanistan. Abul Qasim Jabbar, the most dangerous Afghan killer, chose his victims mainly from among men and boys. During his arrest, he was suspected of the massacre of 300 men and boys. In terms of crimes against humanity, he does not have the least of the terrorist forces of the Taliban. Unfortunately, before the arrest of Abul Qasim Jabbar, the then government of Afghanistan executed 2 people for the murders he had committed. He was arrested in 1970 and confessed to many murders. Fortunately, this serial killer was not sentenced to life imprisonment like some of his colleagues and spent only 1 year in prison. Abul Qasim Jabbar was hanged in 1971. Yang Xinhai. This time we go to a serial killer from China. Yang Xinhai has committed the most murders among the serial killers of China and its surroundings, and thus has earned the title of the most prolific serial killer in this country. He has been accused of 65 murders and more than 23 rapes that took place between 1999 and 2003. He enters houses at night and commits murders with cold weapons such as axes and hammers. Despite his confession to 65 murders, the police managed to trace Yang Xinhai to 67 murders. He, who was arrested in 2003 and executed in 2004, said in his confession, "The more people he kills, the more he wants to kill people." He was an antisocial person and it seems that he was arrested a little late like the Afghan killer. Honestly, I didn't forget to like and subscribe before I introduced 2 more brutal killers in the world who committed more crimes than others. Kampathimar Shankaria. Kampathimar Shankaria was an Indian serial killer who was linked to more than 70 murders by the police. He started his murders in 1977 and was arrested 2 years later, in 1979. He used a hammer to kill and killed all his victims with hammer blows to the head. Kampathimar Shankaria had told the police that he enjoyed his murders. His famous sentence during the execution was, "You are killing me for nothing, I hope this doesn't happen to anyone else." Pedro Filho was a serial killer born in Brazil. When Pedro's mother was pregnant with him, she was abused by her husband and as a result of the beatings, Pedro was born with a damaged skull. At the age of 13, Pedro's father pushed him under a crane with the intention of killing him, and he eventually survived the incident. At the age of 14, Pedro Filho kills the deputy mayor because his father fired him for theft. His second murder takes place at the same time, the person who seemed to be the main thief. If you want to know how a chewing gum can identify a killer, click on the link above. After fleeing because of the murders, Pedro Filho settles in another city. After the murder of a drug trafficker, he meets a woman named Maria, but the woman he loves is killed by a drug mafia group. After that, Pedro Filho went after the members of this gang and after torturing them, he tried to kill them. This was while he was under 20 years old. After that, the father kills his parents. Pedro goes to his father for revenge and kills him too. He also committed murder in prison and killed 71 people during his 30 years of imprisonment. Discover the world's criminal facts with Holmesland.